Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we are going to recapping the first 2 episodes of the BREA. Just 2 minutes into the premiere, the action kicks off when the sinkhole hits LA just as Eve is driving Izzy and Josh to school on BREA Ave. Despite their attempts to escape the city caving in around them, Josh and Eve end up falling into the pit while Izzy escapes. Later on, we see that Josh and Eve are alive and have woken up in a mysterious forest location alongside carnage from the sinkhole and other survivors, including Riley, Marybeth, Scott, Ty, and Sam. The group comes together and decides to gather food, water, and supplies as they attempt to figure out what's happening. After the accident, Gavin, a former Air Force pilot, arrives at the sinkhole site and is reunited with Izzy. The two are told that their family likely didn't survive the fall, but Gavin's visions tell him otherwise. He unexplainably sees Josh and Eve still alive after they fell into the sinkhole and is able to see what they're doing in real time. He relays this information to Homeland Security, reciting the number of a drone they sent into the sinkhole for proof of his knowledge, but they brush him off. While searching for supplies that could help the survivors, the two teens find a bag of heroin in the trunk of a car. They're obviously shaken by their discovery, with Riley declaring, "We never saw this." While in the woods, Josh and Eve come across a wolf, which chases them back to the camp and attacks the other survivors. Veronica and Lily's father is killed, and Josh is bitten and severely wounded. But before the animal can cause any more damage, Ty shoots and kills it. Back in LA, Homeland Security's Dr. Sophia Nathan holds a press conference and says there are many unknowns about the accident and why it happened, but there are likely no survivors. However, after speaking to the press, she tells a colleague that the sinkhole resembles what they saw at the Mojave incident, including the sliver of glowing green light that appears at the bottom of the pit. This means that the authorities know a lot more than they're letting on. When Sam, a surgeon and former Marine, tells Eve that Josh's wound is severe and needs medical attention, the two leave Riley with Josh and set out on a journey to find an ambulance that also fell through the sinkhole. On their trek, they come across Ty, who's in the midst of attempting suicide. They manage to stop him and persuade him to accompany them on the hike. The group finds the ambulance. It's then that Eve realizes the Hollywood Hills on the truck's logo are the same as the ones she sees on the horizon. She realizes that they are somehow still in LA, but before she can digest that information, a saber-toothed tiger confronts them. With both Homeland Security and Izzy not believing his claim that the sinkhole victims are still alive, Gavin is determined to prove the truth. Using an old photo of him and Eve that they took by the same rock he saw in his vision, Gavin returns to the boulder and digs up Eve's wedding ring that she lost back on the other side of the sinkhole. This proves that he has some sort of connection to Josh and Eve, wherever they may be. Ty comes to the rescue once again when he kills the saber-toothed tiger that charges after him. However, one more appears, and they're forced to hide from the animal on the side of a cliff. However, an impatient Eve wants to return back to camp. They run into the tiger again, and it knocks Sam over the cliff. The tiger comes after Eve and Ty, but they're safe when it falls into a mysterious hunting trap that was clearly made by an experienced forager. Eve and Ty find Sam hours later, who is now suffering from a back injury and can barely walk. The three of them try to make it back together, but eventually Sam sends Eve on her own, with the medical equipment and instructions on how to treat Josh. Thankfully, Ty and Sam make it back to camp with the help of a mysterious newcomer. Back at the camp, Josh's wolf bite becomes infected as Riley stays by his bedside and waits for Eve, Ty, and Sam's return. Josh's condition becomes progressively worse until he passes out right before Eve arrives with the antibiotics. After Gavin finds Eve's ring, he's convinced that their family is somehow stuck in the past. To prove their theory, they take Eve's ring to a scientist to carbon date it. However, before the scientist can find out the results, the ring is stolen. After finding out about the ring, Homeland Security bombards Gavin and forces him to come with them. They bring him to speak with Agent Sophia and Adam, who not only reveal they stole Eve's ring, but that it carbon dates back to 10,000 BC. This proves what Gavin thought all along, and that his visions actually mean something. Sophia reveals to Gavin that the day of his helicopter crash years prior, A sinkhole occurred just miles away in the Mojave. Both the La Brea and Mojave sinkholes have an eerie green light at the bottom, which leads to the past. Homeland Security then shows Gavin a plane they've designed specifically to fly into a sinkhole. Their plan is to fly a pilot down into the hole, and they want Gavin's help. Thanks to a conversation she has with Scott, we learn that Mary Beth is a cop from Louisiana. But when Scott asks her why she was in LA at the time of the sinkhole, she gives a vague answer. I have my reasons. Later on, she comes across a Mustang with a Louisiana license plate that she clearly recognizes. As it turns out, it's the same car with the heroin in the trunk. It becomes clear that Mary Beth is looking for the man who owns the car when she asks sisters Lily, who doesn't talk, and Veronica if they've seen him. Mary Beth finds the man she was looking for, Lucas. When he arrives to camp after helping Ty with an injured Sam, Lucas, drumroll please, is Mary Beth's son. Scott agrees to accompany Veronica on a search for her dad's body after he was killed by a wolf in the premiere. During their journey, Scott manages to deter a group of camels from getting trapped in tar pits, a detail he remembers learning about the history of the La Brea tar pits back in LA. It's this event that helps him realize where the sinkhole has taken them, back in time to 10,000 BC Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Veronica makes a more unsettling discovery. She finds her father's body, which has been placed in an unusual handprint pattern made of stones. After finding their father's body, Veronica returns to the camp and finds Lily being looked after by fellow sinkhole survivors. Though she initially seems grateful for their help, she later lashes out at Lily and tells her, "We can't trust those people," and "they won't understand us," hinting there's more to their story than meets the eye. In a surprising moment, Lily speaks, revealing that she actually can talk even though everyone thought otherwise.
I thought I was